No matter how much you know, how sharp your intellect is, or how many truths you have discovered, intelligence, far from opening all doors for you, can become your greatest curse. Have you ever wondered why the brightest people are often alone? Why those who truly understand how the world works end up isolated? It's not a coincidence. And if you are one of those who feels that every conversation turns into a battlefield where you have to measure your words to avoid discomfort, then listen closely. Arthur Schopenhauer made it clear: intelligence is not always an advantage. Not in the world of men. What is clarity to you is a threat to others. What is simple logic to you is for others a dagger that wounds their pride. Because the truth, spoken without filters, humiliates. And most people are not looking for the truth. They just want to feel good. Think about it. How many times have you said something obvious and people looked at you with disdain? How many times have you corrected someone and, instead of gratitude, you received resentment? Intelligence displayed without control awakens envy, generates rejection, creates discomfort, and here lies the mistake of those who believe that knowledge is enough. It isn't. It's not enough to know. You have to know how to handle intelligence as a silent weapon, not as a flag you wave in the wind. Schopenhauer called it the art of pretending to be a fool. Not because you are a fool, but because there are moments when pretending to be less than you are is the master move. It's not about renouncing intelligence, but using it strategically. Want respect? Don't boast. Want to be listened to? Don't correct. Want influence? Don't intimidate with your intellect. Allow others to believe they've arrived at the truth on their own. Look around you. Those who climb in society are not necessarily the most intelligent, but those who know how to move in the complex web of human relationships. Those who master the art of subtlety. Those who understand that the truth can be a double-edged sword, and that the envy of the mediocre can become an insurmountable barrier. This doesn't mean you should diminish yourself or live in mediocrity. On the contrary, true intelligence doesn't get wasted in pointless arguments or in proving you're right. True intelligence knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to show all its power and when to play at simplicity. Put yourself in this situation. You're in a meeting and someone says something monumentally stupid. Your instinct urges you to correct them, to show them their mistake, to expose their ignorance. But think twice. What's the use? What do you gain from that? Will you change their way of thinking? No. You'll only awaken their resentment. Because no one wants to feel inferior. No one wants to accept that they've been wrong all this time. So smile, nod slightly, and let the conversation go on. Not because you're a coward, but because you're wise. Because you understand that not every mistake needs to be corrected, and that sometimes the best move is to let the other person sink into their own ignorance. Schopenhauer said it with brutal clarity. Fools have an advantage over the intelligent. Not because they are better, but because the world is designed for them. Society favors mediocrity because mediocrity is comfortable. It doesn't represent a threat. The mediocre group together protect each other, rise among themselves. While the truly brilliant person, if they don't know how to handle their intellect cleverly, ends up alone, apart, misunderstood. And here's where the real game comes in. You don't have to be part of mediocrity, but you don't have to fight it head on either. There is a middle ground, a perfect balance. Pretend ignorance when necessary. Play with others' expectations. Make them believe you are less than you really are, only to surprise them when they least expect it. History is full of examples of this. Great strategists never showed all their power from the start. The best players never revealed their cards ahead of time. Napoleon, Da Vinci, Tesla, they all understood the power of discretion, of intelligent manipulation, of pretending to be less to achieve more. Because here's the brutal truth. If the world perceives you as too brilliant, it will try to extinguish you. If they see you as too wise, they will try to humiliate you. If you show all your intelligence without filters, they will turn against you. Not because you're bad, but because the human ego cannot stand the superiority of others. But if you play with cunning, if you learn to dose your intellect, to present yourself as someone accessible without awakening envy, then you have control. No one will see you coming. No one will consider you a threat. And when the right time comes, when it really matters, you will be able to unleash all your capacity without resistance. This is not cowardice. This is strategy. Do you want to know the key to surviving in a world where mediocrity is the norm? Learn to be silent. Learn to disguise. Learn to move in the shadows when necessary. And shine only when it really matters. Uncontrolled intelligence is a curse, but intelligence managed with precision is the most powerful tool you can possess. So the next time you face an ignorant crowd, the next time you find yourself in a conversation with people who are not prepared for the truth, remember this: you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to correct every mistake. Only fools make an effort to show their superiority at every moment. The wise play with time, with perceptions, with patience. Pretending to be less than you are is not a betrayal of your intelligence. It's the brightest move you can make. And here comes the next level of this strategy. Pretending to be a fool is just the surface, the basic tool to navigate through mediocrity without raising alarms. But if you really want to master this game, there's something else you need to understand: the power of strategic invisibility. Think about it. Who are the most powerful figures in history? Those who shout their successes to the world, or those who operate from the shadows? The answer is obvious. People fear what they don't understand, and what they don't see, they cannot attack. If you go unnoticed, you avoid enemies. You avoid envy. You avoid sabotage. The most astute in history have mastered this art. They don't seek approval. They don't seek validation. They don't seek constant recognition. They are the ones who move undetected, the ones who make their plans without announcing each step. While others fight for attention, they work in silence. And when the world realizes their presence, it's too late. The board is already set in their favor. This concept is so powerful that it even works in nature. The most effective predators are not the ones that make noise, but the ones that stalk silently. The snake doesn't announce its venom. The tiger doesn't roar before attacking. The sniper doesn't shout their position before shooting. In the jungle, in war, in life, stealth is power. And here's what's really interesting. The lower your profile, the more freedom you have. People won't mess with what they don't perceive as a threat. If you present yourself as harmless, as someone not competing, they leave you alone. And while they are busy fighting for recognition, you are preparing for the real strike. The mistakes of others are visible to all. Yours remain in the shadows. If you fail, no one notices. If you succeed, it comes as an unexpected blow. This is how the game is played. But here's an important warning. Invisibility doesn't mean irrelevance. It's not about disappearing completely, but knowing when to appear. It's about being in the right place at the right time, not being everywhere, wasting energy in pointless struggles. Look at the true leaders, the real geniuses. They are not in every conversation. They are not arguing with anyone. They are not fighting for attention. They are in their own world, building, observing, waiting for the precise moment to make their move. Most people waste their energy trying to prove their worth. They want recognition. They want validation. They want to be seen as intelligent, as important. But in that effort, they expose themselves too much. Their mistakes are visible. Their plans predictable. Their moves can be blocked. Do you really want to master this strategy? Learn to play with time. Don't rush. Don't show all your arsenal in the first battle. Observe, analyze, measure people. Detect their weaknesses. Discover their intentions. And when you finally make your move, let it be so precise that no one can stop it. Patience is the most underestimated weapon in this world. Most people are impatient. They want quick results. They want instant gratification. And that's where they lose. A patient player, a strategist who knows how to wait, will always have an advantage over the impulsive ones. Napoleon used to say, "Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake." And the same applies in life. People are always showing their weaknesses, their insecurities, their breaking points. You just have to wait and see. If you really want power, stop worrying about being seen. Stop seeking validation. Stop showing what you know. And start thinking like a real strategist. Because while others wear themselves out trying to prove their worth, you'll be one step ahead. Invisible, unreachable, unstoppable. And here's where we enter the most interesting phase of the game, the control of perception. Because pretending to be a fool is not just a defensive strategy. It's a weapon, and invisibility is not just a refuge. It's a tactic to shape reality in your favor. Let me explain it to you with brutal clarity. The world doesn't treat you according to what you are, but according to what it perceives of you. It doesn't matter how capable you are, how wise, how brilliant. If people see you as a threat, they will isolate you. If they see you as a pawn, they will use you. If they see you as a resource, they will exploit you. And if they see you as someone ordinary, they will ignore you. But here's the trick. You can decide what perception to project. You don't have to be a genius in the eyes of everyone. You don't have to be the strongest, the smartest, the most skilled. You just have to seem what the moment requires. People live under the illusion that human interactions are sincere, so that when someone talks to you, they do it without hidden intentions. But that's a childish mistake. Every interaction is an exchange of power. Always. Even if it seems like a trivial conversation, even if it's just a simple chat without importance, there's a dynamic at play. Who's in control? Who's driving the conversation? Who's influencing whom? The one who dominates this perception dominates reality. Look at how the real players of this world operate. They are not the loudest. They are not the ones seeking to be the center of attention. They are the ones who control the narrative without anyone noticing. They are the ones who let others believe they have control while they pull the strings from behind. The key is subtlety. Have you noticed how some people manage to make others do what they want without it seeming like they asked for it? How certain people impose ideas without needing to impose anything. That's not a coincidence. It's a skill. And here's the difference between those who play this game well and those who are victims of it. The intelligent believe they win when they prove they're right. The wise win when they make others believe they came to the conclusion by themselves. This is where the strategy of pretending to be a fool becomes something much more dangerous. It's not just about avoiding conflicts. It's about guiding others without them noticing. Making them believe the idea was theirs, that the decision was theirs, that the power was always in their hands. Because if you think intelligence is simply knowing more than others, you've only scratched the surface. True intelligence is the ability to make the world move according to your will without the world realizing it. And for that, you need to learn the art of indirect suggestion. Think about it. What would you prefer? To be right in a conversation, or to make the person in front of you do exactly what you wanted without them even realizing it? Because that's the difference between arrogance and mastery. Arrogance needs validation. Mastery only needs results. But here comes the most fascinating part of all this. People never question ideas when they believe they are their own. If you try to convince someone of something directly, their defense instinct kicks in. Their ego resists. They feel attacked. But if you guide the conversation subtly, if you leave small clues, if you give them the illusion of control, they will come to the conclusion you wanted. And when that happens, resistance disappears. The art of indirect suggestion is the most powerful tool you can master. And when you combine it with strategic invisibility and the appearance of innocence, you become untouchable. Because here's the secret no one wants to accept. True influence is not noticed. If someone realizes you're influencing them, you failed. True manipulation is invisible. It feels natural. It seems like a logical evolution of the person's thoughts. And when this happens, there's no resistance. Look at the great strategists. They never try to win arguments. They never put themselves at the center of the stage when it's unnecessary. They know that the best way to control is to make the other believe they are making the decision. And you can do the same. Learn to plant doubts without imposing answers. Learn to ask questions instead of giving orders. Learn to give options in which all answers favor you. And above all, learn to withdraw at the exact moment the other believes they've taken control. Because when someone feels they've won, their ego relaxes, their guard lowers. and that's when you really decide the game. This is the highest level of social intelligence. It's what separates those who dominate the world from those who merely observe it. Because uncontrolled intelligence only creates enemies, but well-used intelligence creates empires. And now tell me, what do you prefer? To be the one who desperately tries to prove they're the smartest in the room, or to be the one pulling the strings without anyone noticing? Think carefully, because the world isn't won by the smartest. It's won by those who know how to use their intelligence at the right moment and in the right way. And here we are on the verge of the end. But before closing this circle, I want you to understand something crucial. Something that most will never learn. Something that, if you really apply it, will completely change the way you move in the world. Because everything we've talked about until now, pretending to be a fool, strategic invisibility, control of perception, patience as a weapon, has a bigger goal. It's not just about avoiding problems, nor about being smarter in the social jungle. It's about something much deeper. It's about being unreachable. Not unreachable in the sense of being physically distant. No, unreachable in the sense that nothing and no one can touch you, affect you, or stop you. Think about the most influential people who have ever existed. They weren't desperate to be accepted. They weren't worried about what others thought. They didn't react to every provocation. They weren't slaves to public opinion. They were unreachable. Because here's the truth that hurts to accept. If the world can touch you, it can control you. If you react to provocation, you're a puppet. If you seek validation, you're manipulable. If you feel the need to prove who you are at all times, you've already lost. But if you learn to move without leaving traces, if you learn to influence without them noticing, if you understand that true power is being above immediate reaction, then no one will be able to touch you. And when you reach that point, when you truly understand that the best move is the one that doesn't need to be explained, when you realize that you don't have to fight every battle or prove anything to anyone, you become dangerous. Because the world is full of reactive people. People who act without thinking, who speak without measuring, who fall into every trap set for them. But you don't. You already know that real power lies in strategy, in patience, in subtlety. You already know that you don't need constant recognition. You already know that those who really matter don't seek to be seen. They let their actions speak for them. And now comes the most interesting part of all this. Because if you've made it this far, it means something inside you already knew it. That this is just putting into words something you've always felt, but never clearly defined. And now you have two options. You can go back to the same old, act like the rest, react to every provocation, waste your energy in pointless discussions, seek validation like most do. Or you can start moving differently. You can apply what you've just learned. Observe more, speak less, plan with patience, control perception, choose when to act and when to disappear. Become the type of person the world can't read or predict. The choice is yours. But I leave you with this. The most dangerous players are the ones who understand that the best move is the one that's already won, before anyone notices. If you understood everything we discussed in this video, I want you to comment, "Silence is my advantage." That way, I'll know you're one of those who are truly ready to move differently. And if this has helped you, subscribe to Psyche Nomad, because what's coming on this channel is for those who don't want to be just another person, but for those who are ready to start moving like the real players of this world. See you in the next video. And remember, those who make noise never see what's coming. Those who advance in silence do.